everybody. Welcome to the Canine Connection podcast. Today, Lori and I are going to talk about making training hard for our dogs, which doesn't sound very nice. But I talk about this for a couple of reasons. Um, One of them is, I've been reading another book, big surprise. And of course, this is the universe, right? Or maybe it's just that the trend is now shifting, right? And people are understanding that part because I also saw a post from Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist. If you've never looked at his podcast, they're amazing. He takes complex topics and simplifies it so that anyone can understand it. And it's just amazing information. And he recently got a puppy. And so it's so great because he's like got this puppy on the treadmill and he's like
Huh.
talking now about training and learning and how the brain learns, right? And so multiple things, stuff that I've been reading, things that he said, other things I've seen. And in addition to just what I'm experiencing in life, in training, with my training partner, with some of my students, is dogs thrive when we challenge them. Dogs are 1,000 times smarter than we ever give them credit for. We have this horrible tendency of like spoon feeding them, like constantly micromanaging them, helping them, doing it. Oh God, like ah, leave like, just get out of the way and let them think. The second they make a make I wouldn't even call it a mistake because if a dog is learning, let's say it heads in the wrong direction, we panic and intervene. Like, we're
Mhm.
just constantly in there, in there, and in there, like helicopter parents, even, like, more micromanagey than that. And so
And
we're doing a bunch of things. One is we're not even giving them an opportunity to show us like what they can do. Two, we're creating learned helplessness. We're teaching them just 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 don't do anything. I'm going to show you how to do it. Like, well, that's not going to go well down the road, right? And the evidence and the research is showing that errors are a normal part and a necessary and an important part and a valuable part of learning.
mhm.
And so if we're constantly like trying to go, oh God, oh God, oh God, and like, I got to do something, you're interfering with the
Mhm.
dog's natural learning process. So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
having people do wacky things like take their tiny little puppy when I mean young, 8, 9, 10 weeks old, stop training it in your basement or in your empty training building, bring it to class, send it to the mat. Student's dog runs, like goes to the mat, she rewards it. Sends it again, the dog wanders off. Now, I'm not saying let it get into trouble or into danger. It wasn't in danger. Just wandered away from the mat, right? Got distracted. It's a baby. Looks around in the environment, and all of a sudden, it's the most fascinating thing ever. It snaps its head back, looks at the rug and goes, I'm supposed to go to the rug. Runs to the rug. Yes. After that, next couple reps, ran to the rug and back. So the dog learned with absolutely zero handler interference. And when it learned, once it drew that conclusion all on its own, it knew what to do. Like, it wasn't like it kind of sort of learned it. Like, it knew what to do.
Right. Yeah, and that's, like, the thing people are fearful of most is just letting them figure it out. But I think people shift to, "Well, I don't want them to make a mistake. I don't want them to practice that." Like, practice what? Like, they don't even know what they're fucking doing anyway. Like, there's
Right.
no practicing. And even if you did sort of start training, putting some foundation on it, like, you still need to let them sort things out and try to puzzle it out when it gets hard, when there's other choices and distractions out there. I always say to my like, I'm always saying this to my students, like, it is okay to let the wheels fall off the bus. Like, don't it's fine. It's okay. Like, it happens to us as human beings in life. Don't tell me that shit hasn't gone backwards or sideways for you, and then you figure it out, and then you feel like $1,000,000 because you figured it out without help. It's the same thing for the dogs, and it's the same thing for the puppies, and yeah, they are, like, expect them to not go in the right direction on the first try or the second try or the third try, like, that can happen, but let them have a chance. Let them have a chance, like, 100%.
Yeah, I remember one time I was doing articles with Zesty, and I don't know, he just kept grabbing the wrong article. I didn't know why. I couldn't figure it out, and I couldn't fix it. So I just left it. I just
Oh,
let it be wrong. I got
yep,
up the next day. I still didn't know why or whatever, and tried again, and he did it right.
yeah,
Like, so that whole, like, "Oh, I have to, like, it's the end of the world, it's completely broken, I can't stop training until this is right, let me
yeah,
now look, I'm not saying, again, right, like, let the dog struggle to the point of no return, but, like, we
right.
don't even give them a
A second,
chance to,
yeah.
like, muddle through.
The biggest one is a great example is that, like, when I have students start their puppies or adult dogs even who have never done scent articles, we start them on the tins, and I'm like, "Just do nothing. Like, don't do anything. Just let them figure it out. Don't be all quick to jump in." And I'm watching the person, and they're standing there. They cannot control themselves. They start inching toward the pile. The second the puppy doesn't hit the right tin, they're starting to walk in. I'm like, "No, no, right?" Even if the puppy
Mhm.
hits the right tin and, like, walks away, they're, like, so apt to, like, jump in and help or, like, freaked out, and I'm like, "Just wait." I don't know what it is, it's like this, like, total, I don't know, fear of failure.
Well, I you did make a really good point that I wanna reemphasize. It's that whole we don't want them to learn the incorrect behavior or practice the incorrect behavior, but your point was outstanding. They are not practicing,
Right.
they are learning, and there's a huge difference,
Yeah.
right, between learning and practicing. When you learn, it gets messy.
Mhm.
Right? Like, if only people could just apply their own experience to the dog's experience. Like, it's messy when you're learning, and it's okay to be messy,
Right.
right? You're not practicing the wrong behavior over and over. Now, if the puppy left, that example I gave earlier where it wandered away from the mat, if it just like wandered away and never came back, all right, I'd have to modify something a little
Yeah.
bit. I wouldn't like go completely off the rails, but I would modify something.
Right.
But or if every time I sent the puppy, it wandered away and then eventually came back, I would modify something. But the puppy is learning. And I do the same thing with an adult dog, right? Like it's learning. So let it kind of like, get a little weird. And then, oh, look, it figured it out. Like I can't tell you how many times like this has happened where, like, hold is a perfect example, right? Like you have an object, you want to teach your dog to hold it. So initially, you want your dog to just put their mouth on it. So the dog will open its mouth briefly, split second, put their mouth on the object you're working on. It could be a it could be anything, doesn't really matter. right? And then they click and feed. Okay. Except they click and feed that for like 50 reps and then they're like, I can't get duration.
Yeah.
Because when they wait, because I do it like you do it 2, 3 times, now I'm waiting for duration. Well, that
Yeah.
now that I'm waiting for duration, it gets a little messy. And then
Mhm.
this is where people mess up, right? So now the dog puts their mouth on it, let's go. Well, that's not what I wanted. I want duration, right? So I
Right.
don't say anything, I just wait. Dog pokes it with its nose. Nope, that's not what I want. I just wait. Dog maybe looks away or goes to walk away. I go, "Nope, come back here." Now people start freaking out, right? Nope, I just wait. Dog, like, pushes the dumbbell again, I just wait. Now when I'm doing with someone, same thing like you said, I'm going, "Wait, wait, don't do
Right.
anything, wait." And you can see the person getting so uncomfortable, and just when they're about ready to look at me and go, "I can't take it anymore," the dog puts their mouth on the dumbbell and holds it there for several seconds, which is what we wanted.
Right.
Bingo,
Right.
right? People just can't wait that long. They can't tell it, but he's walking away, but he's doing this, but he's poking. So immediately they go back to dog barely puts their mouth on it, click. Well, and now you're teaching the dog, just barely put your mouth on it, right? So
Right.
all because you can't wait. But that's what like the dog is just processing. Like its brain is going, what are the possible answers? Is this the answer? No, that didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that? Nope, that now sometimes when it appears like they're leaving or all those things you want to label it, the dog's just processing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's just like me yesterday trying to fix the dryer and I like couldn't figure something out. I'm like, I'm just gonna go upstairs for a second. Just gonna
Yeah.
walk away.
Right. Yeah.
And then I come back and I'm like, "Oh, right, I can do this now." Right? So it's the same thing, like,
It
they're
is.
just taking a minute to process, like, give them just it's okay, just wait it out. Like,
Right.
and hundreds of times there have been scenarios where the person just was not gonna wait long enough, and I'm standing and I make them wait, and then the dog has a breakthrough, and then the dog's really proud, and the handler's, like, beyond delighted and surprised, right? And I'm like, "See?"
Yep. Yeah, and that's like that whole thing, like, with, making it harder, like, I'm harping on this all the time, like, again, like, the second I've got it at that interval, I'm progressing. Like, I'm
Mhm.
moving on. I'm making it harder. Like, and I think people have to consciously be aware of that in their training, that you like, the goal is, like, you have your end goal of what you want that end picture to look like, your behavior, your finished product to look like, and even as puppies, like, I'm on a time frame, like, it's not like the clock's ticking, but eventually, like, I need to get to that place, however long it takes, so I don't wanna sit there forever, and if I've got understanding at that millisecond piece, like, if we, freeze frame it and the dog has it at that second, I'm moving on, like, I'm
Mhm.
progressing. People have a really hard time with that, I think, because then it's like that circling back, that vicious cycle, like, "Oh god, well, now I have to do it again, and the dog might make a mistake if I push it." Like, yeah, that's still a learning process all the way up to fluency, right? Um, because I always say that to people, like, it's okay. Like, if the dog can't get it, you've progressed, you went too fast or too far, you can always go back, but you don't want to stay there, right? You need to be okay with moving, making it harder, moving on, progression.
Well, it's that whole reinforcement thing for humans, right? Like today. And because I'm aware anyway, I took my dogs to Lowe's and I trained them, and Zesty was, like, lights out, right? First time in a long time. So he was, like, awesome. And I'm in there and I'm like, "Okay, you're done." And I felt this urge to do more. Even when I put him back in the car, I was like, "I know why I wanna do more, because that felt so good, I wanna feel more of that."
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah.
That's a me problem, right? That's a me enjoying wanting more ice cream. No, but it's not the best training strategy. It's actually the worst training strategy is drilling. And this was part of in the book too, where it's like this book I read, and it's about, just doing reps, 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 reps feels good. And it feels like you're making progress in the short term, but in the long term, the retention tends to be poor. The retention is better if you do less reps. And even if you stop your reps before they're good. So, for example, if I'm training my dog like a drop and he made a little progress on the drop, but it's not where I need it to be, but I stop anyway and
Mhm.
then pick it up another time, that's way they dogs have better learning long term that way than if I say, "Oh, I'm going to do another one and another one." It's almost, well,
Yeah.
it's better, but it's another one. So whether I'm doing it because I'm trying to get a better outcome on that task in the session, or I'm doing it because it feels good to see my
Yeah.
dog get it right over and over, in both cases, it is not the best training strategy.
Right. Right. Which is easy for us to do. Very easy for us to do. Or we get into that, like, it feels good, or we're like, I need to make sure this is actually solid. Like the dog
Yeah.
guys are like, well, wait, can he do it on the fourth? Like, let's make sure he can do it 10 times solid. And then it's like,
And
oh,
they can't, and what happens, and I see this all the time, this is why I have a rule of 3s with my students. You are not allowed to do more than 3 correct reps, ever. And I'm
right.
really big on one and done,
Yeah,
right?
me
Like,
too.
I'm huge on one and done. But,
Yeah.
like, if you absolutely, like, are having, like, a seizure, don't do more than 3.
One and done is hard. Like, it's hard for me too. I'll be like, oh my God, that was perfect. I guess I should move on to something else. Like, it's so hard.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
if
why.
you think about it, well, a couple things happen. One is it's almost for some dogs, like Zaina, it becomes like a punisher
Mm,
because she did it perfectly. And then she's like, I can see her rolling her eyes like, really?
yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
For other dogs, they start to second guess, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the work actually degrades, and now you have to say to the dog, "That's not right," and you kind of
Oh,
wiped out all those beautiful
right.
reps the dog just did.
Yeah.
So that's one scenario. The other thing is they start second guessing, so they start, like, doing weird things, right? Where they're like, and the other thing is just mental fatigue, right? Like, when, um when I'm learning a motor skill, like, the last time I went shooting, there comes a point where I can feel my accuracy starts to go downhill, and as soon as that happens, I stop, because I just exhausted the good reps I had in my, like, nervous and motor system. So if I keep going, now I am rehearsing what I don't want. So what is the
Yeah.
point? Right?
Right.
Like, I don't care if I have more rental time. I don't care. Like, I'm done. It's
Yeah.
good. I'm done.
Yeah. Which is
But the
actually should be like, I don't know why we don't flip our brains going like, wow, that was amazing. I did it once and I don't have to do it again. Like, we don't go there.
the
Like,
rep
we
thing
don't do
is,
that.
yeah, well, this book I read, it showed that even when they did these studies and then showed the students the results of the studies, and explained it to them, et cetera, they still had this tendency to wanna
Yeah.
drill anyway. So
Yeah.
it's a weird human tendency, which we just need to be aware of, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we're
Definitely.
aware of it, and we need to be willing to try it, because What I found with Zest when he was young was if he's trying to figure something out and then he kinda gets it, then I just stop, right? Because if I kept going, it would always get, like, really ugly. So I said, "All right, I'm just gonna stop." Like, he just kinda did it, maybe, sorta, whatever, I'm just gonna stop. Come back the next day, he could do it.
Yeah.
And that happened several times, and then I went, "Okay, got it." Like, he does better with just leave it, move on to something else. Leave that, move on to something else, and then let him sleep on it,
Yeah.
and then come back and he's got it. And a lot of dogs are like that, but we just never even try it,
Well, yeah, or give them the chance. Yeah.
yeah, to see
Yeah.
if it works or
Yeah,
not.
definitely.
Um,
I think too, like, another thing is, like, I feel like when we really let the dogs try to puzzle stuff out without us spoon feeding all that, like, you really do learn a bunch about who your dog is, through that process. You really like, how they learn best. I think that's a big thing because you're watching them actually learn and figure it out in that moment. You're actually like, I mean, hopefully you're observing that, and seeing what kind of learner they really are. Do they get frustrated? Like, what's their frustration threshold or tolerance? Or, do they need do they do things like that was a big thing with Salty, like, when he couldn't get something, he would just walk away, and I'd be like, "Holy shit, like, where's he going?" But he would come back, and it was like the first couple of times, I'm like, "Oh, Jesus," but that's what he needed to do, like, he would just leave, do a circle, come back, like, it was his thinking process, and I
well,
think
and
peace. So you're like really paying attention, like you just said with Zest. Like you figured that out when he was young by just letting him figure stuff out.
well, it's like you just said, it's being willing to be an observer, number
Yeah.
1, right? Which means you're not interfering, you're just kinda interpreting what you're watching it and just going like, "Huh, like, that's interesting. I wonder why he did that,"
Right.
without interfering, right? And then after a while, you're like, "Oh, I can see why that's happening," but if you're interfering, then
Mhm.
you're never gonna get that information. Or if you're having this like, "Well, I'm observing it, but why is he doing it? I can't believe he left me. Huh." Like, and you're getting all in your head,
Right.
you're not being an objective observer.
It's actually now like one of my favorite things to do is really just watch the dogs try to figure stuff out. I think it's so fascinating because I think they all do things differently and they all go about things differently. And it's just fun to watch them because they, to me, like I feel like they're natural problem solvers. Like they're
They are.
opportunists to begin with. And I think that we just don't give them that chance enough. I think I know you do too. It's just incredible to watch them. That's just the dog
Well,
behavior.
and solving problems creates confidence. Well, it teaches the dog how to learn. It teaches the dog how to push through adversity, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
teaches the dog resilience. They have to learn to deal with frustration, right? And that's not a bad thing. That's
Right.
important. It's an important skill. Like, um, no, don't just give up. Don't just bail. Don't just stand there and wait for me to solve your problem. Like, figure it out. Yep, you're a little frustrated. It's okay. You're not going to die. You're going to figure it out. And they
Yeah.
get better and better and better at it. Those are really important skills. People want dogs that are resilient in the ring. How do I get a confident dog? How do I get a resilient dog? Well, A, stop micromanaging them. Let them solve some problems. Like, make it challenging. If you make it too easy and the dog never struggles, the dog's never going to learn how to push through and how to solve the problem.
Right.
Um, and then, another thing we've been doing a lot of, which I wish I had done this years ago. I don't know why, because it wasn't how it was done, right? Traditionally, You teach your dog behaviors in isolation, like in your training building, in your house, wherever you normally train, low distraction level, teach the dog the skills. Teach it there until the dog really knows the skill. Then later down the road, add challenges to it. Well, if you think about it, that makes absolutely no sense on two levels. One, you're teaching the dog context. In this context, a pristine environment, you do these behaviors when I give you these cues. Then you completely change the context. You completely change the picture. And you're like, now do these same behaviors here. And the dog's like, wait, I don't even know where I am. I don't even know what's happening. I don't even know what I'm
Right,
doing.
right,
Right. So so that's a lot harder for them. And like, again, you're teaching them in a clean environment, so maybe you're shaping, maybe you're making it, but it's still not that hard. So
right.
what we've been doing is right out of the gate, right? I don't care if there's noise. I don't care if there's other so like my poor Zeal, not poor Zeal, I mean he lived a good life, but he's gone now. Poor me, because I miss him, but my
Uh,
old dog, like, when my training partner would train her puppy, he was out, and he was doing his, like, old dog retrieves and, because he still wanted to work. So, I would work him, and she would train her puppy on purpose. So she her puppy got used to, oh, dog runs around, dumbbell flies, person saying down, sit, stand, motion, like stuff happens, right? If we had put tennis balls out as a distraction, the tennis balls were out, right? If the puppy ran and looked at a tennis ball, who cared? Eventually it learned. Sometimes there's tennis balls out, sometimes there's toys out, sometimes there's weird little creatures that like the hip hop duck that does hip hop and wah, wah, goes around and like stuff is always happening. And the most fascinating thing happened is this dog all on its own went, oh, when stuff happens, I pay better attention. I really need to focus in on mom. So the dog started to say, "Oh, when this distraction comes, I need to give my mother more engagement." All
yeah,
on its own, it figured that out. This dog is so bomb proof, like in terms of environmental stuff, like so bomb proof because it's been like that from day one. Like that's just how this dog was trained. And that's how the dog continues to be trained. Another thing with this dog is it makes a mistake in training, right? And we're just like, nope, that's not the right behavior. It goes, okay, comes back. It figures out how to do it right. It doesn't fall apart, doesn't have a nervous breakdown. It's not like, oh God, I messed up. It's like, oh, I made a mistake. No,
right,
I get it. A mistake just means do a different behavior.
right. Definitely. Yeah, that dog is really awesome. I mean, that dog actually came when we had our first NOC training party at my building. I mean, it was fucking crazy. Like, we had multiple rings, like little tiny rings going with things going in every ring all the time. And that dog participated as a full exhibitor and did really, really well. She's not even 2 yet, I don't think, right?
No, she's
And
like,
she did
yeah.
everything well, like, really well,
Mhm.
with the rest of us. It was really cool to
Yeah,
see.
and it's because that's how that dog got trained from day 1, and we, like, would purposefully like, she would send the dog to the go out, and I would walk in front of the go out. I'd have my dog in front of the go like, all the proofing stuff we do with adult dogs. Now,
Right.
we didn't do it in a sense of, like again, you have to use discretion, like, where we completely overwhelm the dog,
Yeah,
but, like,
right, right.
stuff was just always there, and it
Right.
just learned that
To work
that's
with.
just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I know, like, my breeder of Ever and Salty, Kate, who we've had on our podcast, like, I mean, training sessions too, like, she runs a really busy business, and a lot of times, like, with her when she's raising up her puppies and stuff, like, she just doesn't have windows that fit perfectly for having, like, ideal training environment or whatever. So her puppies are always, like, just whatever's happening in the kennel or whatever's happening in the building or whatever's happening, like, with daycare drop off, like, the puppies are out and they're doing their stuff, like, and she's working them through all that because, A, she doesn't really have the flexibility and the advantage of just picking and choosing her times because she's so busy, and the puppies, like, that's just and that's sort of how, like, that when I got Salty, it was kind of the same way. I had gotten the business and the building, and I was showing 2 dogs and training all the dogs, and life got freaking chaotic, and I didn't have, like, opportune moments all the time, like, when you guys all came to train at the building, like, I took him out and trained him, like, dumbbells are flying, and, like, I love that now. Like, that's definitely I definitely see that he's like, that's beneficial for him since we started doing that, and that's definitely what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of all my, next future puppies for sure.
Yeah,
My
like when my puppy comes, it's gone. I mean, I always did train it like when I had my rehab, right? It was connected to the kennels. Puppies
Yeah.
just train there. Dogs are barking, stuff's going on.
Yeah.
But at some point, I did do more, oh no, have to teach this first. Like, no, I'm going to be training this dog at the stores, in the parking lots.
Yeah.
It's gonna be going, when like with my training partners, when we set stuff up, then when it's a puppy's turn, that same I'm not putting this stuff away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, clean up the toy. No, it's all gonna stay out. I'm gonna tell my training partners, move around. I'm gonna say, take a dog out and train that dog while I'm training this dog. Like, this dog is just gonna learn that, you can learn and you can, again, it's just another form of solving
Right.
problems. And it's just making, making the dog more resilient. And I feel like if the dog just learns like that's how it is, then that's just how it is. And then one day down the road, when it sees ring picture, it's not going to be like, holy heck, like what the hell is this?
Right,
You
and I
know?
think that's a big thing too is, like, um, you know, like you said, like, the way that things were done in the past was, we train everything in isolation. We train all the things where there's no distractions. And then at some point in the dog's career, like as we're getting close to like possibly thinking about showing the dog, where, oh shit, we got to generalize everything. Like now that
Yeah.
years have gone by, let's totally dramatically change the picture on the dog.
Yes.
And I
And
think that,
now let's make it hard. And now,
yeah, yeah,
okay, if you didn't do it when they were young, you still have to go do that. You still have to make it challenging, right? Like proofing, I mean, that's huge.
right.
But if we can do it earlier, even better. Or earlier, like today we were in my garage and I was doing this nose work thing where there's boxes and there's I'm just laughing because I have labs, right? So now at the next level, you put a box out that's got like food in it. Oh, good Lord, help me,
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
So like, and it could be, so today my friend brought cat food. Ah, apparently cat food's very exciting. So um, so ignore the box with the cat food, find the box with the odor, right? So anyway, Zest is in there doing a search and her dog was laying down and her dog like got up and just started wandering around. And she's like, "Oh my God." I said, "Leave her out there. I don't care that she's walking around the pile.
Right.
Zesty can figure it out." Like, he should not care that this other dog is walking through the pile. Is that going to happen in a trial? No. But I don't care, just gonna make him concentrate even that much harder.
Right.
So, like, he's new to the nose work thing, but I don't care. I'm doing it. He doesn't even have his NW1 yet. He's not in a trial till the end of the month. This is not an NW1 thing. This is a harder thing. So what? I'm making it harder. He's gonna and he's both my dogs, they can figure it out. And even my training partner with her dog, like, she's like, "Oh, this is the first time I'm doing it." So we did this yesterday. She's like, I looked at her, I'm like, "Riley, you don't have to make it that easy. She could figure it out." And she did. The dog did. The dog figured it out really fast. And I said, "See, you were making it too easy." She's like, "Yeah, I know. I realize that now." Like,
Yeah.
it's this weird thing where we're always making it too easy. Now, again, I'm not saying overwhelm your dog or set your dog up for massive failure and overwhelm,
Yeah.
but
Right.
our natural inclination is making it too simple. And then even when we're like, the dog's easily doing it, doing multiple rep. I looked around, I'm like, "You're doing another rep? This simple?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Here, let me put some more down." And she's like, "Oh, she did it." Yeah, no, yeah, she did. Like,
Right.
it's so fascinating to me. Like, if it was too hard, we would have just made it easier.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You can always go back and make it easier, modify for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. Like, it's not like if it's too hard, we ruined the dog
Right.
permanently.
Right.
We
Yeah. And
just made it too
yeah, and
hard.
that's and then yeah, and just again, like, let's just reiterate, like, we're not throwing them totally under the bus and putting them in situations that are possibly gonna I don't know how to even say it, like, just
Completely stress them out or
yeah,
scare
like,
them
we
or
don't wanna
overwhelm
scare
them.
them and make them yeah, like, you just have to be a little bit mindful of that for when you're starting to do that, but, just, I think you just the people definitely need to start being a little bit more like open to letting the dogs and puppies figure it out more for sure. Like it's okay if it will go like for sure. Unless you have that genius puppy who's gonna like just figure it all out like a brainiac, the first whatever, but you're gonna have fallout. Definitely. It's okay. Totally okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the piece people have to they just have to be okay with the mess. I mean, I find it fascinating that humans as trainers struggle. Like, they constantly make mistakes, they constantly like get frustrated, you know. Um but it's like weird how they can't see that, but then eventually they get better, right? Like,
Yeah.
cuz that's the process. And they can't but yet they can't see that, like, that's okay for the dog, right? Like, for the dog, they're, like, constantly in a panic. So I think you have to remember, A, the science says, that making it hard is actually very beneficial, especially for long-term learning, making it challenging, right?
Right.
That mistakes are within reason are again, they're beneficial. They're in a really productive part of
Of learning.
learning. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Um and that, like you said, like, if we're not like constantly pushing them, then we just get stuck and stagnate, and then the dogs get like bored or frustrated. We're like, "Oh, we don't know what to do." Well, that's because you're afraid that when you push it and it falls apart a little bit, you're panicking. Stop panicking.
Stop panicking and also stop caring what other people think. That's another one too, because that's a big one. Your dog makes a mistake and everyone's like, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Chill out.
I know. Yeah,
Relax."
well, and it's like it's kinda similar to what you said earlier. Like, I'll hear people say, like, or I'll have a student, she's like, "Well, I don't want my dog to do that in the ring." I'm like, "Dude, your dog's a year old. I don't think we need to be worrying about this right now." Like, literally, right? Like, come on. It'll be
Right.
fine. It's like that whole
Early in
learning piece,
yeah. Right.
right? Like, It's the dog is learning. It's okay. It's not supposed to come out of the womb and do it perfectly. It's not supposed to do it perfectly in a year or in 2 years. Like, it's part of the process. Like, it'll
Right.
get there. It's gonna get there at some point, but, you know, um, if you're constantly micromanaging, you're gonna have a huge, huge problem on your hands
Yeah. For s
because the dog is gonna learn that when I'm not sure, when I'm conflicted, when I'm worried, when it's hard, all of these things happen when a dog is competing. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna stand here and do nothing, and my mom or dad are gonna bail me out. Well, good luck with that when you're in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let it be. When I have my proofing class, which I don't call proofing anymore, because the old way of proofing is you set the
Set 'em
dog
up
up
to
to be wrong and then you tell them they're bad.
yeah.
But where we start adding challenges to behaviors, which actually makes the behavior stronger and makes the dog more confident if it's done correctly. At first week or 2, I'm always like, "Make it harder, make it harder. It's okay, your dog can do it." People are, like, hesitant, they're, like, cautious, they're very afraid, they're like, "I don't know. Oh."
Yeah.
By week 4, 5, 6, they're going to town. I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm getting all kinds of great ideas from my students. I'm like, "Oh, I need to try that. Oh, I need to try that too." Because now they're having fun. And now they're seeing, "Oh, my dog can do it. Oh, my dog can figure it out." And now they're like, "Oh, this is so cool." And they're like all in. But I always have that like initial thing at the beginning where they're like, "Huh, huh, huh," and I'm like, "It's fine. It's
Right.
okay. It'll be okay." You know, "Oh, but he went, I threw the dumbbell and he ran to the toy." Uh-huh, he did. They all do.
Right.
That's what they do, right? And then guess what? They figure it out. And then they realize they're not supposed to run to the toy, they're supposed to get the dumbbell.
Right. Right.
But just just give them a chance.
Yeah. Totally. Give them a
Give them
chance.
a chance. Make it challenging. Let them have that amazing, amazing feeling
Yeah. Figuring it
that
out.
we all get, right? When we struggle and then figure
Yeah.
something out. And that frustration's part of it. Like, you should have seen me the other night. I was just telling my friend this morning. I was fixing the dryer, so my washer and dryer both broke, like, within a
Ugh,
day of each other.
God.
So, I fixed the washer. Okay, that wasn't it was okay, so now that I tackle the dryer, and I'm like, all I have to do is put the stupid, like, front panel back on, except, of course, it wasn't that easy. Like, I really just needed another pair of hands, and I didn't have
Right.
another pair of hands. It was hot. I'm in the basement. There's no air conditioning down there. I'm pouring sweat. My hands are all slippery. I keep dropping the door. I'm like, "Ah, fuck." I'm like cursing. I'm like so mad, right? And then I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, I am getting this door on if it's the last right? But there's also this part of me this whole time, like my hands are getting cut up, right? Where I'm like, the reason I didn't just bail or wait a day or 2 till somebody was around and ask them to help me was because 'cause I've been here before. I've done things like this. I've been in situations where I got stuck and I got frustrated, and I know that if I just keep at it, if I just take a deep breath, dry my hands, take a walk away for a minute, come back, I'll I'll get it. I'll get it done. And
Right.
that's because I have a history of that. And that's resilience, right?
Right.
That's what we want in our dogs. We want our dogs to be in a situation where they go, ugh, and then they go, wait, there's some part of them that goes, I know what to do here. If I push, it will work. Right?
Right.
If I push, why? Because I've done this before. I've done this many times. I've been in a situation where it was hard, where I wasn't sure, where I got frustrated, but I just tried one more time and then it worked. And then I got the right
Right.
answer. And that's what we're building. That's what we're teaching them so that when they are in that situation, they will push through because they're like, I know how to do this.
Right.
And maybe they'll curse like Zaina. Zaina will probably be like, ah. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll be more like Zesty and they'll just do it. Whatever. But in essence, like that's what we're teaching them.
Right. Push through.
Push through. Don't give up. Yeah, so get those dogs out there. Get them
Yeah.
out in the environment. Stop training in your house or your room. Put different stuff in that. If you're in the room by yourself, just put different things on the floor, different things, different sounds. Make it different, make it hard. Um, don't baby them.
The right.
And then I think they're gonna shock you.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay. That was good. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.